Hello folks, this is Patrick. I wanted to make this quick video and give you an update on the progress of my two 3D printed models here. And I just want to point out some of the process, or rather the process I'm using to assemble these. I'm not a professional or a this is not something I do on a regular basis, so I'm trying to come up with ways to make it easier to put these together. And what I mean by that is like this homemade box here. I use this to, when I glue some parts on one of the figures, put it in here so that I can set it up and rig it up so that uh, the part will stay in place while the glue hardens or dries. All right, let's talk about carnage, then we'll get over to scream. All right, as you can see, I got them all banded up with rubber bands here, or bound up with rubber bands. And the parts are the base, the two legs, the torso, the two arms, and there are four tendrils, the head, and a tongue. Right now, I still have to do two more tendrils, and those are, oh, since we're talking about tendrils, let's turn him around. Now, these do not, I don't know if you have experience with these 3D printed models, but some of them don't always, the pieces don't always fit together perfectly, which is, I've come to expect that because this is my 1, 2, 3. These two here make 5 total 3D models that I have now. So I've gotten used to it, and I learned how to deal with it. And since these 4 tendrils did not fit perfectly into the holes, and I did not have instructions with these models, I had to figure out which tendril went where. What I did was I would try to fit each one into the little area here, the little space. As you can see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 little areas for the tendrils. And once I found the one that fit properly, I would mark the spot in the tendril with a number. So that way I could come back later on and glue them in there without trying to fit them all over again. And once I got them in place, I put glue on there. And by the way, I've talked about this glue here. It's pretty good stuff from what I've seen so far. It's a 2-part glue, and that's what I've been using on these. So yeah, get them in there, glue them, and then put rubber bands on them to keep them in place while they dry. Let me see. Now there are some small little gaps. Probably can't see it here in this light, but there are some small little gaps in certain areas. I think like around his waist, where the parts come together and they don't quite fit perfectly. But there is some type of compound that I've seen on YouTube. I plan to buy some and fill in the small little gaps. Where's my pointer? Okay, that's not the one I wanted. All right, here we go. Some of the areas right here, you can probably see it, little gap there. There's also one here on that part of his leg. Also up here around the shoulder area. All right, so much for him. And I still have 2 tendrils. Okay, yeah, I already said what's left. Now, this Scream. Scream has, I don't know how many parts, but those are parts for her hair. I guess hair tendrils, if there is such a thing. The 2 arms and the hands. Now, I want to point out that when I received this model, the only damage was right here. That piece is broken off and it's missing. If it was here, it would be no problem just gluing it back on, but it's missing. So I have to fabricate this part of the arm so that I can fit the hand into it. I hope I caught all that on camera. All right. All right. Let's see. And the base comes in two parts. You probably can see right there where it separates. It's somewhere right there. It separates. All right. The legs come in two pieces. The bottom part and the top part of the legs. The torso. And let me see. All right. And the head separate. This big hair is separate from all the smaller pieces of hair. Now, speaking of the hair, if you decide to buy one, now I do realize that all of these, when a 3D printed model is made, none of them come out exactly the same. So if you decide to buy this, you may or may not have the same problem. Then I cannot put this in the correct position because it's right now. I had to put my hair dryer on it to reshape this piece because it actually. Okay, I'll explain this again once I get the rubber bands off and show more exactly what I'm talking about. But where is it? Okay, this piece connects right there, and then it wraps around. Okay, this is not gonna make sense until I get this thing together. Okay, it connects and then it wraps around. Okay, anyway, let's do it this way. Taking too long. That big piece, that hair comes down, and it was touching the base and it was touching the leg right here. So I had to reshape it to move it over and up a little bit because there's another piece of hair that attaches right here, and it was not enough room for it. So I'll explain that in the next video so that it'll make sense. But that's it for this update. It's coming along slowly, getting everything glued. Oh, one more thing, I almost forgot. Again, I'm not totally familiar with the 3D printing process, but there was some type of like sticky substance on some of these pieces. So be aware of that. It wasn't a big issue. I just took all the pieces and gave them a bath in alcohol, and that seemed to have taken care of the stuff, the issue. That's it, folks, but I'm really getting a kick out of this. Makes me feel like I'm really creating something here, even though I didn't create it, but it makes me feel like I am. And yeah, okay, so I'll talk more about that next time. And I will also tell you how I saved a bunch of money by buying these two figures here for a couple $100 instead of buying two figures of Carnage and Scream for would have been a total of $2,000 for the both of them. All right, thanks a lot. Bye.